Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. So today's video we're going to be doing a short overview of quite an interesting little Death Star style unit. Now, those of you that aren't 100% sure what Death Star style units are, they're not as prominent in 8th edition as they have been in previous editions such as 6th and 7th. But what a Death Star unit is essentially one big, massive unit that is almost nigh on unstoppable, and if it has a weakness, it is a small one. Okay, so in the past you had things like Wolfstar in 7th edition, where you had a whole boatload of Thunderwolf characters with Thunderwolf cavalry. And they would all be attached together with sort of Dark Angels characters for invuns and Psychers to make them invisible so that you could only hit them on 6s, and Wolves to wolves that could absorb wounds. And the whole thing was that this thing was almost impossible to kill via mass shooting. It was almost impossible to kill via high strength shots because it had loads of invuns. It was almost impossible. The only way you could really deal with it is if you had some small, there's a very few select characters that hit on a specific level, no matter sort of what the modifiers were. So you'd have like Khan the Betrayer, for example, who always hit on a 2+ no matter what. So very, very small niche weakness. So the Imperial Guard in 8th edition actually has access, probably for the first time that I can remember, to a proper Death Star unit. Now, what it is, and I actually faced against this on the weekend, and so I want to be able to, I can talk a little bit about it and how I personally beat it. So the Death Star is Bullgryns Star. What you do is you take a big max strength unit of Bullgryns, and you take about 7 of them with slab shields, and you take 3 of them with the power bucklers, the ones that give you the 4+ invuln. And then you put those in a big blob, and then in the middle of that blob you take 3 characters. You take a Ministorm Priest and 2 Psychers, Primaire Psychers. You could probably get away with taking Astropaths, but the one I saw had Primaire Psychers. Now, what this allows you to do, there is I've spoken about this before, but this is the one that I face, and this is how I would beat it if I faced against it, or how I did beat it. So what this allows you to do is you have all your Bullgryns, and obviously the guys with slab shields have a natural 2+ save, but there are things like las cannons and plasma and stuff which can get through that 2+ save and really hurt your Bullgryns. So that's why you have a few of the power bucklers. Now, in the past, the power bucklers, the sort of power shields, they're the ones that have not really been seen as very good because they're only a 4+ save. However, thanks to a cool few nifty rules manipulations, they can actually be very, very powerful. Okay, so the first thing you can do is you can take you can use the stratagem take cover on these guys. And what the stratagem does, it gives you +1 to your save. Now, if you've got an invulnerable save, that means you go from a 4+ invuln to a 3+ invuln. So there you go. Second thing you can do is you could use one of the Primaire Psychers to cast Psychic Barrier on them. So suddenly, which gives you another +1 to your save. So suddenly, you're on a 2+ invulnerable save. Now, at worst, you're on a 3-up, because there's very little that anyone can do. There's only one way someone can stop you from getting off that strategy, and that's if you're playing Dark Eldar. But then Dark Eldar traditionally don't have any Psychers, so you'll probably get the Psychic Power. So at worst, this thing's got a 3-up invuln, but normally it's going to have a 2-up invuln. Okay, because the other Psyker has Night Shroud, which means that it's -1 to hit the unit if he gets it off. So suddenly, you have a unit of 10 Bullgryns. Each one of these Bullgryns has 3 wounds. That's 30 wounds. They're on a toughness 5 platform, which means they're immune to most small arms. They've got a 2+ save, armor save, as standard. So any small arms are just going to go on the slab shields. And then through stratagems and through psychic powers, they can go up to a 2+ invuln save on some of the models, which means things like las cannons, plasma become much less effective, and you have a command point even if you fail it. So, you essentially have a 2+ save with 1 reroll available, which is absolutely insanity, absolute insanity. Now, not only is this unit incredibly tough, but it also has huge damage output. First off, you don't want to bother with the Grenadier Gauntlets at all. They're pretty much useless. What you want to be looking at is the Bullgryn Mauls. Now, what the Bullgryn Mauls do is they give you +2 strength, AP -1, 2 damage. The 2 damage is really big here, really key. And we've spoken about how autocannons are making a comeback, and the reason for this is there's so many invuln saves out there now that it's more about doing flat damage these days than it is about AP modifiers, because there's so many ways people can just ignore your AP modifiers. And those armies which don't have loads of invuln saves are rapidly becoming lower tier armies. For a good example of this is Admech. Admech have almost no invuln saves. They have some, don't get me wrong. 5 up on the neutron late on the walkers, 6 up on your infantry. Ooh. But still, you're not looking at armies like Custodes, which have got 4+ saves across the board, or Dark Elder, Talos, which have 4+ invuln saves across the board, or I had another army in my head, but it's gone up my head now. Space Wolves, which they're not top tier Space Wolves, but they can compete because they can spam Storm Shields and invuln saves on every unit, as far as I'm aware, in the Space Wolf army can have a Storm Shield. You can take a Battle Leader, can have a Storm Shield, boom. Right, so it's becoming much more important now to be able to do multiple damage. Now, Bullgryns get 3 attacks each as standard. So we're talking about high damage output. So 3 attacks as standard is fantastic. 3 strength, 7, AP -1, 2 damage each attack is great. When Bullgryns charge, they have the special rule Avalanche of Muscle, which gives them +1 attack. So suddenly you're going up to 4 attacks per guy. And then, ladies and gentlemen, you can take a Ministorum Priest. And the Ministorum Priest gives them another attack. Which means you are getting 5 attacks per Bullgryn. And you have 10 Bullgryns. So that is 50 attacks. Hitting on 3s more than likely. Wounding on 2s or 3s, AP -1, 2 damage. They're really, really good. There's nothing that can't just bludgeon to death. So, there you go. Absolutely fantastic unit. Now, I was able to beat the army that had this. It was an Imperial Guard army that had a Shadow Sword, loads of mortars, and a Bullgryn Star. Pretty much what the internet will tell you is the best guard army you can take, which is a load of bollocks. Okay, but because I beat it with my apparently shitty Steel Legion list. But anyway, let's not get into it. Well, I won't say shitty, but outliers. People looked at my list and went, "Oh, that's kind of fluffy. That won't do very well." But respect for you bringing it, and then I won 3 out of 5 games. So the point is that what is its main weakness? What's that weakness of that whole list in general? Maneuverability. Okay. The problem is that Bullgryns only go 6 inches a turn. Any army which has an ounce of maneuverability will just avoid it. Because at the end of the day, it's one unit. And it doesn't have a huge footprint on the battlefield. It's got a respectable footprint, but it's not got a huge. It's not going to stretch from side of the battle from one corner to the next. Like massive blobs of cultists do. No, it's never going to do that. It's just a relatively medium-sized blob of almost unkillableness. But if you just ignore it, you kill everything around it, then it's relatively harmless. I mean, when I faced it, I fed it a Chimera, just because I wanted it to stay in the middle of the board. So I was like, "There's a Chimera. You're not going to move 4 to 6 inches turn. You're just going to, surround the Chimera basically," which is what he did. So, yeah, that's it really, guys. That's the main way you beat it. Don't try and kill it, because when it's fully buffed up, you're never going to kill it. You're just never going to do it. Even if you deny the psychic power, both psychic powers, it's still toughness 5, 3 up invulnerable saves kind of stuff. Still very, very tough. So, and meanwhile, if you're pouring everything into this unit, then the problem is that then you're not killing the stuff which is actually doing damage to you. That Shadow Sword, which is destroying your tanks. Those mortars, those infantry squads are just raking down your infantry. So there you go. So there you go, guys. Nice little short video. I think the Bullgryns is an incredibly powerful unit, and when used well, can be very good. But it has a very key weakness, which can be exploited by any smart player. I personally think the best way to run Bullgryns is less in a foot-slogging blob and more dropping them off out of Valkyries or in Chimeras or Torques and stuff like that. Basically, the general principle is you want to be getting them in the enemy's face straight away. You don't want the enemy able to run away from them. So taking 8 Bullgryns, sticking them back of 2 Valkyries, flying them forward, you can't really go wrong with that. When the Bullgryns have been delivered, drop down into hover mode and just start strafing with the Valkyries. So then you've got fire support, you've got close combat, but you've got everything in one nice little package there. Can't go wrong. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave lots of comments, and I'll see you guys next time.